guy who does the funny so that we can get to the truth. And the truth is, if we can laugh about it, we can talk about it. If we can talk about it, we can start to heal from it. Deal with it. Make it useful to us moving forward. We can get stronger, safer, more solid.
Here we go, folks. Live from Hanover, Virginia on my end and bumfuck California on the other end. It's Getting a Herd late night. I'm unplugged. I ain't holding nothing back. We got a special guest tonight. But first, for those of you who don't know me, I'm John Shinholser, old guy in recovery, coming up on 39 years clean. And I say that proudly. And also the founder of McShin, co-founder of McShin, and the president. And we've been doing these podcasts, since COVID hit, so we can drive content to people all over the place, especially in corrections. And we're just excited to be here. I got a wonderful special guest tonight, a good friend of mine. I love him dearly. I miss him dearly. And I'm just so excited he come on tonight. And Mark, why don't you introduce yourself so the folks know who we're talking to, the ones that don't know you.
John Shinholser, the people who don't know Mark Lundholm, that list is long and distinguished, my friend. The people who do know me are either in the penal system or they're the ones who bail us out. You know what I mean? So, John, you've been my friend for years and years, coming up on 30 friendship. Both of us been clean over 30 years, which is a select group of people who have run out of excuses to behave badly in public or private. That's what I say. So
that's why I got a sponsor, man.
I'm in Sacramento, California tonight. It's in Northern Cal. It's the capital of California. I live in San Jose, about 2 hours south of here. So I drove up to the studio, wholehearted.org, the nonprofit I'm affiliated with. We have a studio up here where we film content and podcasts and shows for YouTube and all kinds of stuff. Maybe we'll get into tonight. Maybe we won't. But this particular place is a sanctuary. We make nothing but consistent mental health progress here. Now when I leave here, I go back home to where I'm in charge. So stuff goes south real quick, John.
Well, I bet, man. I'm really impressed now. You're telling me you drove 2 hours just to get to a spot to do the podcast for us, and hey, that means a lot to me. So,
well, how many times have you and I gone out of our way for each other, emotionally, physically, financially, geographically, in the time we've known each other? You and I have done a lot of stuff. I love the work that we do with the county jails and the prisons and the incarcerated populations around the country who we can't visit personally yet or haven't yet,
But pre-COVID, we'd be bumping into each other all over the country, man. And, you'd be going in one jail or prison, I'd be coming out of one, and we'd see each other at conventions. And, like I told you earlier, we're going to, this content will go to a lot of folks inside. You had a little trip inside one time, didn't you, where you couldn't get out the same day?
Well, listen, that's the beauty now. 500 prisons or jails later, literally all over the planet in a bunch of countries and a lot in this country. When the show's over, when the talk's over, when the workshop interaction, brother to brother from another mother is over, I get to leave. I get to leave and I go home to a place where I got a key and the fridge is full of food I stocked and I don't have to wear county issue clothing like every other man in line for chow. Right. All that stuff we get when we get out, you and I are kumbaya when it comes to this one thing I know.
Right.
That people who get out can stay out. And I didn't know that when I was locked up, locked in, locked down. All the time I spent behind bars I deserved. In fact, if I got what I earned instead of mercy, it'd be 25 to life easy. I'm no tough guy, shot caller, juice card holder, but I did a lot of stuff that I didn't get caught for. I remember that when I'm there.
I was one of those guys. I'm a BC guy before crack, and I was arrested 12 times, and I got clean in 1982. And I remember when that colonel said, Marine, you're either going to go to the brig or you're going to go to rehab. The first things I thought about being locked up before was the food sucked and the women were fake, man. I went to rehab. I don't see how these guys keep going back to jail and prison. I don't get it, man.
Well, listen, a lot of times rehab sounds too healthy. I know how to survive in county. I know,
Right.
right? And I'm no tough guy, you know? I've been in, I can't count the fights I've been in. I've lost 98% of them, John, because, now at 60 plus years old, I'm out of game. I'd love to throw a hand. I'm just too tired. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I'm a single guy. I'm gonna need that fist on Friday. So
You
you ain't
single
ruining my
again?
weekend. What?
You
Oh
single
yeah, yeah,
again?
yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit, man! You can do a game show on this one, man. Hell, that's new
John,
content for
all right,
me,
listen.
man.
Can we get back to talking about stuff that makes me look
Okay,
better?
all
All right.
right, I'm with you. So
So yeah.
I've heard your story though. Somewhere in the mix, you got a hope shot early on.
Yes.
Can you remember the hope shot?
Well, here was mine. October of '88. I'm laying in a motel room in Northern California. It's a 45-minute bus ride from the bridge I live under, Oakland, California, my hometown. I live under a bridge where I can shield the wind. I know I'm going to wake up with two shoes tied together that are mine. I know even if I pass out, I don't pass on because I got the right measure of chemical delivered in my system to get some kind of sleep or rest or at least out of the rain. That bridge was a sanctuary, one of the best places I ever lived up to that point in my life. I took a bus to Hayward, California, because I had taken a 22 off a dead guy in an alley from the day before. I knew he was dead, but he was known to pack. So I took this little girly gun and I took a bus to Hayward and I snuck into this motel, broke a window in the back and climbed through the back. It was a $6 an hour motel room, right? And now normal people hear that and go, $6 an hour? How much is that a day? I ain't staying a day, and neither is she, right? So I I break into, I didn't have $6. I didn't have 6 cents. I didn't have common sense. I went in there, I pulled the trigger. The gun was in my mouth. Pulled the trigger and the gun jammed. That was my hope shot.
Wow,
The
man.
best I could do, at 29 years old was put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger and the gun jammed. My first thought wrong was, I suck at everything, man.
Good thing
I
it
am
wasn't a Colt,
truly
man.
well, listen, that was my hope shot instead of the other stuff I was doing to just, disappear from the planet. But after that, the next day I was in a treatment center in Fort Point restrained, in a lot of trouble, but in recovery day one.
Right. I want to shout out to Martin Hall. He's tuning in from Wyoming. And we got Joanne up in West Virginia and Johnny Fab up in Pennsylvania. These are all kind of like good recovery groupies and shit. We kind of hang out together.
That recovery Wyoming, Martin and the crew up there.
Yeah.
I'm doing a live event for them coming up.
I think he's all excited, man. He's probably stripping down right now thinking about it. So.
Hey, John,
Wyoming,
how do they invite you back on StreamYard without some kind of fine?
Well, Facebook got a little problem over there, so I got to jump around to these little platforms and whatnot.
Oh, so you jump platforms instead of change your behavior. Is that what you tell your residents? You got to change your location, not your direction.
That's how you know your compass is good. As long as there's a platform you can get to, you're safe, man. Like I say, I've been following you. I've been listening to you tell your story now. I bet I first heard you live. It had to have been 20 years ago, maybe 25, long time ago. A lot of guys don't know that. A lot of guys inside may not know you, but you're one of the funniest comedians I've ever met. But somewhere in the mix, you had to make a decision. Hey, I want to be a funny guy, make a living of it. Tell us about that little hit.
I was shoveling gravel on a road crew in San Jose, California area. I kind of went down to San Jose from Oakland. I wanted to get away from some familiar faces and some familiar themes in Oakland. Everything was too close, too hot. You know what I mean? So I go down to San Jose. I know the area a little bit. I used to sell dope out of San Jose State University. And so I got this job, even with my record, I got this job slinging gravel on a road crew that was, paving highways or big condominium complexes and stuff. And one of the guys there that ran the crew He was supervisor. He said, you know what? You ask a lot of questions, you know? Now, if you're in a dope deal, you're a dead man. But if you're on a road crew, the guy says, why do you keep asking? I said, I don't want to sling gravel next week. I don't want to shovel gravel. I want to do your job. I want to do your job's leader's job. I want to do your boss's job. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Because with a bag of dope, it's never enough. With hope on the road, it's never enough. I didn't want to sling gravel anymore, but I did it. Boom. And every time I stuck that shovel in the gravel, I remembered this. Say, God, I want to do comedy for a living. Because I was doing volunteer comedy in jails, rehab shelters, detoxes, halfway houses, Salvation Armies, a lot of places I lived since I was 9 years old. So I would do comedy on a volunteer basis. I was living in a halfway house. They would give me a pass to take a bus 2 hours to do 15 minutes of comedy at the shelter and 2 hours home. I got special compensation, special permission, no compensation, but special permission to leave the halfway house against curfew hours, stay out late, because they trusted me a little bit. And I never betrayed that. I always did the comedy show. But once I started doing comedy, I couldn't quit. You know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 8 minutes, conventions of 12-step people, some kind of one-nighter open mic they had where it was a bar 7 nights a week, but one night they added a corner stage with a little floodlight on you and put up this crappy, you know, Mr. Microphone, and you did 6 minutes. I couldn't stop doing comedy, right? So I'm slinging gravel this one Friday, and the supervisor says, why do you ask all these questions? I said what I said. So Monday, they brought me in the office, and they started training me to be an estimator. And I'd ride around in this truck with this guy, and he'd show me this and tell me about this. And, you know, I never finished anything but like the 7th grade, you know. When I'm doing a corporate show, I say, I got no license. I drive and fish in California. I don't have any letters after my name, and I never graduated from anything except county. Now the corporate people go, "What county?" You know, they don't know. So, but I had some breaks. A hope shot was the gun in the mouth at Jam. The hope shot was this guy heard me asking questions on the side of the road slinging gravel. The hope shot was the first time I did comedy was in San Quentin Penitentiary. Yeah. So I had a lot of hope shots, and if I look back, I got more hope shots than dope shots now. Right now, you know. So let me shorten this up, right? So I'm doing the best I can to absorb the estimator job information, right? But I've got ADHD, and I've got real quick lips. I'm really sharp wit. I mean, I don't get heckled at work. I'm just too good. I'm a scalpel, man. I go from surgeon to slasher in a second, right? Comedy will do that. Anybody's on the yard right now or locked up in their cell or in a pod, listen to this with other guys. You know what I'm talking about. There's always that one guy. He's faster than everybody else. It doesn't mean he's going to hit what he aims at. You know, you draw a gun out of a holster. You got to be fast, but you got to be accurate. I'm both. Right. Now, I'm a professional comedian. It comes with the territory. But I learned that as a 5-year-old in my own house. If you weren't fast, you were the target. Yeah, if you didn't hurry up to eat, you didn't get any food, right? Slow feet don't eat, right? So I do all I can. They give me an assistant estimator's job, but I'm still doing the comedy 5-6 nights a week somewhere in Northern California.
Were you making money? Were you getting paid?
No, there's no pay.
All practice.
It was stage time. It was stage time, which is valuable. Right. But it was also my form of service. Right. In a way. Early on, 12-stepper there. I'm a 12-step guy, but I'm not here to pimp for any program. It ain't timeshare. I don't recruit. Right. You could be I hate A, and I'll speak that language with you if you're a recovery person. Right. All the things we know now, you and I know now. Listen, how many languages do you speak, John? 90, 95, 112?
It ain't no telling, man.
No, right? As many as it takes to get the deal done, right? I could sell guns to nuns, but I don't want that job. So I'm doing the estimator thing, and I get this gig that pays $50, a comedy gig, $50. It's at a cowboy bar in Gilroy, California.
Holy shit, boy! You ain't got no cowboy boots, do you?
No.
You had to get a pair off of that guy. I'm sure you did.
Well, I went to the Goodwill. And I got a size 9. I'm a 10.5. I got a size 9. That's all they had. But I pinched my pigs in there, and I went to do the gig. $50 for the MC. I'm going to do 2 or 3 minutes of comedy. Then I'm going to bring on another guy and then the headliner. And in my 3 minutes, I bombed so bad. I bombed so bad. 3 minutes is a long time when you're eating it on stage. 3 minutes is a long time when you're with somebody sexually you don't want to be with. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But I'm doing so poorly, and the audience can hear me hearing them, knowing it's not going well. Halfway through that 3 minutes, about 1:30 seconds, I hear myself say, "God damn, I wish I was slinging gravel right now."
You look good, didn't it? That old gravel truck, man. Glad to get to work early the next day.
Gravel don't throw empty Budweiser bottles at you. Gravel ain't the guy you got to see at the desk that says, "You were so bad, I shouldn't even pay you tonight, man." It never stopped me. You know, I did bunk below, and I never quit the bag. So I didn't stop. And that's probably one of 2 or 3, literally, in my first like amateur career, that I remember just feeling punched in the face, the gut, and in the rear end at the same time.
How many years clean did you have when you started making a living doing this?
I had a year and a half. A year and a half. Yeah. I got good real fast. I'll tell you, well, another hope shot. I got good real fast because stage time is the best teacher. You can go to a comedy college. You could take a class. You could watch YouTube videos on how to do comedy or read somebody's book. But stage time is the teacher. It's a lot like doing time. You know, when you're doing time, that's the teacher. Every day it reminds you, hey, when you're in charge, it don't go good. When you follow direction, you get out when they say you're going to get out. Now, I'm nobody's punk, and I'm not going to bend over or follow direction because you say so. But when I see guys get out and stay out, when I'm out and I meet guys who've been out, man, I'll tell you what, those are the guys I listen to. I don't listen to wah wah on the block that says I used to do this and I had this and I got, you know, everybody's always telling you in jail what they done, what they gonna do. Not what they're doing, right? You and I talk about when we go in there, what are we doing? Not what you done, not what you gonna do. Everybody's got those stories, those movies they're making in their head. Here's what I like, the opening joke at a jail. Now, you and I have done countless jails together.
Yeah.
And I always start with, I love coming to a place where everyone's innocent and all the stories are true. and you and I and them, we howl at that. Normal people go, is that the case? Is that the case? Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, we got a heckler, Martin Halls, man. He wants to know what the 14th step is, man.
Okay, that's a joke Martin's heard me say maybe. We talk about the 13th step. You know what? We don't do that one, carrying the message naked to another addict. We don't do that, 13th step. You ever notice how the word relationship sounds like relapse and shit?
Yeah.
Right? Well, go right to 14. Bang an old timer. That's okay.
I didn't know that one. Hell, man.
Well, you know who likes that joke, John? Old timers. They like that joke
that
a lot. They're going, where's my pill?
Good Lord. I see we got my friend Debbie Harwell, good Christian lady, tuned in tonight down in North Carolina. She does our barbecue judging when we do the big state championship. So Debbie, I want to give Jesus a shout out because I'm sure I'm going to forget all about the good Lord doing this show. So glad you're here, Debbie. And you got a lot of fans tuning in here, Mark.
You know, I see AJ there. Where can I see your comedy shows? A little, maybe shameful plug for a good end, right? For a good end. Every politician or minister says that. But in all candor here, wholehearted.org. If you go to wholehearted.org, you can see comedy shows, workshops, CE provided stuff for therapists, counselors. I'm way above my standing when it comes to education of other people. There's so much on their wholehearted.org, the comedy shows, the keynote speeches. You go to YouTube. I got a TEDx on YouTube. There's the Mark Lundholm show is on YouTube. You just Google that. Right. But wholehearted.org is where you can find anything and everything. There's so much stuff on there. I would be grandiose to tell you the itemized list, but because you asked, AJ Fox, I'll tell you.
Yeah, hey, Mark with Hoffa Coffee Bean just said hello. You know Mark Hoffa Beans? You may not know him. He's kind of new on the scene, but he got a killer coffee bean, man. That he's trying to sell to raise money for a recovery house he's got up in Maryland.
No, you know what? I feel bad saying this because coffee is like more important to me than oxygen.
I know it is.
Yeah. So I shoot heroin, for a bunch of years. Mm-hmm. I shoot coffee into my neck every morning now, right? I've transferred. You're getting older, John. You ever know you're getting older? You ever you realize you go from acid to antacid, right? And you still can't quit, right? Right. You ever run out of breath? And you're eating?
That's bad, man. You're getting up there, man.
That's old guy stuff right there. You ever pee 3 times a night? You only got out of bed twice?
I'm pretty good, actually. I take water pills in the morning, so I kind of get it out during the day and shit, man. So I'm pretty lucky with that. Hey, what's the biggest show you ever did? The biggest audience, man?
Ooh, let's see. Tony Robbins did a big 15, 16,000. I used to work with and write for occasionally with Tony Robbins. They call it motivational stuff. I think people motivate themselves. But let's see. The NA convention in San Antonio.
That was a big one.
That was probably 15, 18,000.
And who's that guy was with you? What the fuck's his name? The old funny guy that passed away. Shit pissed damn. Wasn't he there when you were there?
Well, no, not that night, but
you were funnier than him.
Well, come on, John.
That guy, George Carlin. What?
Listen. I was trying to stay away from this story because it's George Carlin was a genius, and the best of the best of the best. Listen, what you're doing right now is you're asking a parish priest to talk about the Pope.
Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So here's what I'll say. George did a show on Friday night at that convention.
Yeah.
And I was in the second row on the aisle with my wife. I was married at the time.
Right behind you, man.
I know you saw the show, and he walked a bunch of people. Right? For whatever reason, they thought maybe they were going to see a G or PG George Carlin, which doesn't exist.
Right.
So the next morning, I get a call from Narcotics Anonymous World office that says, "Hey, we need your help." And I said, "It's 6:30 in the morning. I got a brand new baby laying over here." I swear to God, Grayson, who's now
a third wife, man. What can I do for you?
John, you're giving me a headache. Listen, no, it is. But if you didn't do that, I would think there was a robot on the screen. Right. So the short version, literally, is they said, "I guess you heard about the comedy show last night with George Carlin." I said, I was there. They said, "What'd you think?" I said, "It was George Carlin. You hired that guy. Yeah. That's the show you got." A lot of tender, fragile, newcomer, first 5-year, 2-month people in NA were very brittle. We're forgetful of the hurt we did, but we're real quick about the hurt we feel. Buddy. So it's a teeter with no totter. So what I said to Anthony, the president of the NA, the board, I said, "Well, I don't know what you mean by help you." He goes, "We need you to do 15 minutes tonight before the main speaker meeting to calm down the crowd. Everybody wants their money back. 4,000 people won their money back from the comedy show." He said, "We're going to lose our rear end. You got to do 15 minutes, NA related, real specific to recovery. We need you to be the Band-Aid."
Yeah.
For the Carlin show last night. I said, "It's 6:45. Call me after a couple cups of coffee. Call me back at 9. He goes, "I need to know right now." So I said, "Hang on." I went over to the hotel coffee maker, the thing, and I ate the grounds. From the day before. I'm not kidding you, John. I didn't have time to cook it up.
Tobacco, man.
Yes. I like this. I grind it up. I swallow it. I take some water because you got to have water with coffee, duh, right? Yeah. So I do that. I eat the grounds out of the basket, and at this point, I probably had, I don't know, 2007. That would be, if I do the math, I had 18, 19 years clean.
Right.
And I'm eating coffee grounds before I answer a serious question. So I was probably clean 4 years before I quit blowing my nose on pillowcases I was on, right?
Right.
So I say yes. I put together the 15-minute set, and I crushed. I don't mind saying that to whoever's listening because it's accurate. 15, 17, 18,000 people before the main speaker meeting. I destroyed that room.
I thought you were awesome, man.
Well, thanks for saying that, but I felt good about what I did for the reason I did it. And Anthony, I told him, he said, we don't have any money to pay you. We've spent the budget, and the comedy budget's gone. And George took that. He goes, so he was very blaming of George. And I never got back to Anthony about the real deal, which was you hired a guy to do just what he did.
Yeah.
George isn't going to be nice.
Well, I laughed at George. I thought he was awesome, but I knew he was hurting people's feelings, though, man.
Well, you can see people get up and leave, right? And I've had that happen to me at shows where a table of 5 in Omaha at the Funny Bone gets up and leaves 20 minutes in because I said, quote, you think everybody's as good as they seem or as bad as you think? Don't you think once Mother Teresa wondered, you know?
Right.
And people got and left. They left.
Yeah, we got a kid on the show here, another fucking heckler. He wants to know what you think about cannabis as a tool for recovery, man.
I think cannabis works. I think cannabis works for some people.
Yeah.
Just like alcohol works for some people, just like opiates are taken as prescribed by people and it's painkiller. You know, opiates are painkillers. For you and me, they're just killers.
Right.
Still got the pain and the dope's gone. That ain't the deal I wanted, right? So for me, the chemistry I have, cannabis doesn't work. For me. I can't speak for anybody on this planet, but if you're an addict, you're going to find out cannabis doesn't work. If you do cannabis and it works, you're going to find out you're not an addict. I'm not recommending it, but I'm not telling you I can tell you no. My son is 14 next Monday. He asked me this weekend, Dad, what do you think of weed as a drug? And I said, well, it's a good appetite enhancer if you've had chemo. It'll take the edge off some people and relax the social anxiety they suffer from without you knowing it because they got a $100 fake Rolex smile they put on. Hi, I'm dying on the inside.
You know, you're both doing bong hits right now back where he's at.
Say that again?
Yeah, he's doing bong hits.
Who are you talking about? My son?
Your 14-year-old.
John, you know what? I'm not going to hurt you. I don't come after people, but I still know some guys. You understand?
I got you. You better.
Grayson right now is at his mom's house. The plaintiff.
Right.
My ex-wife, Julie. She's number 2. She got 25 years clean. She's a badass NA chick.
I know her. She's a wonderful girl, man. Awesome.
Yeah, she's fine as frog's hair too. I'll tell you. Listen. I just had a granddaughter. That makes Julie, my ex-wife, a gilf, right?
Oh.
So yeah. So is that Christian lady still on, John, or did she bail already?
She might have to go to bed. I don't know, man. You know, they tune into my show. They know we're going to be off the cuff sometimes.
The truth about cannabis for me is I don't know for you.
Yeah.
I just don't. Listen, this is how wrong I can be. For a long time, I was against Suboxone. I was against Vivitrol. I'm like, hey, you don't step
Vivitrol ain't shit. I mean, who could be against Vivitrol, man? I mean, Suboxone gets you fucked up, but Vivitrol don't.
I almost finished a full sentence before you jumped in there, John. That was fucking amazing.
Go ahead, man.
No, listen. I was against. This is how lame I can be, and how judgmental. First thought wrong. Hey, listen. Swear to you. One of the things I'm going to go left here for a second. I'll come right back to Broadway. On wholehearted.org, there's a product called Shortcuts to the 12 Steps. It doesn't discount Bill W. or any other A. It doesn't mention any A at all. Shortcuts to the 12 Steps. And it has things on it like freedom starts with forgiveness. Okay. Grateful never relapses. Whatever you thought about most today, that was your God today. You did a third step. You just aimed it at fear. Will in my life turned over to. It's 27 minutes long. It's a brief synopsis of these don't hurt nobody, and they've helped a lot of bodies. So the reason I say that is my first thought is always wrong. First thought wrong, guaranteed. First thought wrong. More is better because I'm not enough. I can do one. I proved I'm not addicted. It's a mimosa. I'm a heroin guy. I'm a meth guy. A mimosa? Come on.
You got it, man.
First thought wrong. If I leave treatment early, I'll get back to my life sooner.
Right. Yeah, Debbie's still listening, our Christian lady. So we're still.
Well, that means she's got some crocodile alligator skin for the world, which a lot of us Christians don't possess for very long. We get real flinty, man. But first thought wrong. I thought any step down, any motivational interview, any self-harm reduction, the Suboxone and Vivitrol, that's not doing it right. This is 8 or 9 years sober. I'm hearing this stuff. I'm going, methadone. I know guys that did methadone for 9 years. They were only on dope for 2. You know what I mean? So I thought it's all wrong. It's all throw it away. I'm an abstinence guy. I'm a cold turkey guy. You got to do it like me. You got to do it like we. The we got smaller. And the harm reduction got bigger. So I don't have any problem with somebody doing it their way to get another day. Now, I know for a fact Saturday is going to show up tomorrow. I'm going to show up for Saturday because somebody showed me how to get through Friday without banging my own head against the wall.
Right.
So I don't to answer the question about cannabis or Vivitrol and I know there's a huge difference between Vivitrol and Suboxone, but Suboxone, listen, I if it gets you there to bring you here, get on the bus.
Right. We're a whole different world in 2021 than we was 10, 15 years ago with all these different pathways and whatnot. So here you are moving along in your career. Life is going good, right? You got all these shows booked up. Boom, COVID hits, and all of a sudden you probably ain't got a job, man. I mean, what the fuck? How'd that hit you?
Fortunately, like everybody else, it was a hammer in the head, and I was looking at the ocean. Or a hammer in the head, and I'm looking at her because she's almost out of her robe, and it's time for us to get in, right? Those are analogies I like to paint. I wasn't near the ocean. I don't have a girlfriend. I haven't dated for a long time. That's my kryptonite, John. I got 2 jobs right now. I raised a 14-year-old kid who's amazing, and with a partner, Julie, my ex-wife. She's a goddess, right? And there's no ex-kids in a divorce, so we're married to him for the rest of his existence. That's the commitment we do keep. But I'm not a good guy to be. I'm a good boyfriend for about 2 weeks, John.
Right.
I'm on the road. I'm moody. I'm self-centered. I'm stuck in old ways, like behavior ways. At 62 years old, I'm a good boyfriend for about 2 weeks. It's less interesting a month later to be with Mark Lundholm. So I don't make that leap or that choice. And I really thrive when it comes to being a dad and working. Like most of my work is clinical now. And I won't say clinical applying to me. It's the direction I aim myself. I do group work, workshops for newcomers. I do CE workshops for providers. I do keynotes and comedy shows, fundraisers for recovery-related organizations, nonprofits or profits. 80% of my work is that. So when COVID hit, a lot of the work didn't go away. It just became virtual, not live.
Right.
Now, still, we took a huge hit at Mark Lundholm Enterprise Incorporated. A huge hit. It was devastating financially.
Did you get any bailout money?
I got a little bit. Because of the PPP loan.
Right.
I got the second one, the one they just had this year. The first one, by the time I got to my bank, it was given out to AT&T and IBM and all these other small businesses.
There, man, you were too slow.
It wasn't that I was slow. It's Bank of the West.
Right.
Gave their money out too quick to places like Togo's or Taco Bell. Right. The small business loans didn't get to the small businesses.
So did you get one you got to pay back, or when you don't have to pay back?
I got one I don't have to pay back as long as I can show it was for payroll, which it is.
Right.
So listen, that helped a lot in the beginning of this year, and it was minimal. It was minimal, but it was necessary, and I wasn't too proud to take it because, 2020 was about credit cards, extending loans, trying to take gigs for a third of what I usually get to do gigs. 2020 was the first year since I got clean that I actually took comedy gigs for money.
Right.
That never happened in the years in between. I always did it for the comedy, the mission, the purpose, or the gift back to the universe. Shortcut for you tonight, if you're listening today, if you have a gift, you have to give. That means I've got a gift of a lot of hope shots and some survival, and I'm funny. I have to do something with that to provide the universe with a gratitude sign that says, hey, thanks for what you gave me through trauma, through dysfunction, through some kind of chemical abuse on my part, right? Self-inflicted wounds, all. But if you have a gift, you have to give. So 2020 was the first year since forever that I took gigs just for the money. And they weren't horrible. They weren't unethical, but they weren't not something I'd put on a resume if I wanted a really good gig.
Right. So you did good then during COVID. You feel good about yourself where you're at.
I do, and I'll tell you why. It's a way of looking at shortcut. When I say shortcuts, I mean let me save you some time. Not you, John. You're my elder statesman. You got more clean time than I do, and I know that there's a reason for that. You're my predecessor.
Right.
So when I say shortcuts, that means let me save you some time. Not you, but the newer people.
Well, I'm always open for some tips now, you know.
Well, listen, yeah, I'm sure Carol will take care of that later tonight. But what I'll tell people is what you give energy to will continue. What you give energy to will continue. You young adolescent thug life, 10 feet tall wannabes, what you put your toes on goes on, blood. Let me tell you something. Where you aim yourself is where you're going to find yourself. So we might want to re-aim today, because I don't want to find myself where I'm at tonight if I'm in prison. I don't want to find myself if I'm suicidal tonight where I'm at. So I'm going to aim myself. What you give energy to will continue in that direction. So what I did in 2020 was I thought, what can I give away? Who can I help? Where am I going to aim myself that's not totally narcissistic? Because my first thought wrong is I protect me at all costs.
Right.
And that doesn't work for me in recovery. It works for me if I want to slide down the hill back to, I don't know, Serenity, who was an Oakland hooker I used to hang out with, right? So I get to say, what can I give away? Who can I help? So I took on 2 more sponsees, and I did some work around pro bono stuff. We recorded stuff, without being gratuitous, wholehearted.org. There's free stuff on there. There's free stuff on wholehearted.org where you can stream it it don't cost anything. And it is live comedy shows. It is free workshops. It is free content that will show you, hey, you don't have to wait 5 years of recovery before you find out that you're codependent. All addicts are codependent. It comes with the title. You use the word criminal. We know dishonest is part of the title, right? So, honest criminal, that's like saying big, tall midget. No. So we do work that is harder when times are hard. I mean, nobody I know, I've been blessed to work with a bunch of celebrities, right? I've been at this long enough to where paths cross and sometimes paths parallel and sometimes paths join. Well, there's some people you and I both know that are way up there in the attention scale. 12 on a 10 scale, right?
Right.
Steven, I'm talking people like that.
Oh yeah.
So, but I don't think that people get rich and then generous. I don't think you become altruistic or contribute more because you are all of a sudden more wealthy. I think it's an acclamation to, hey, I'm going to give away my time. COVID cut us out of a lot of gigs, a lot of money, canceled, not postponed. Not rescheduled for 2021.
Get that money back.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Done. Just take that out of the calendar. You might as well rip July out of your calendar, Mark. Oh, shoot. What am I going to do? Well, virtual meetings, virtual presentations, in person when we could, 16 feet away. 6 feet away. That's still too close for an OCD anxiety guy like me. I'm socially awkward because of my dysfunctional family thing. My stay away game for COVID, it's been strong since I was a little boy, right? So the giveaway, I mean, I'm sure the McShin got more generous because there was less to go around.
Well, we've been stacking them up. We've stayed open every single day, man. We're one of the only people that didn't
You
close in
would.
our region.
See, John, you would.
Yeah.
Other places, and every time the stream narrows, some people, they die of thirst. Some of the places out there needed to die of thirst. All those shell shock places that sell SLE kind of beds, and they're not SLEs. All the treatment centers, we treat everything. We treat vets, we treat trauma, we treat that. They don't treat nothing but themselves to a monthly. I've been offered more work in the last 10 years than most comedians or therapists or clinicians get offered in their career, because I'm much more visible now. So I have to say no repeatedly to people who they're not as ethical as places that I work with, that I would drive 2 hours to be on a podcast with.
Right.
They're, you got to learn when to say no. All the brothers listening in county or in some kind of lockup, sometimes no gets you way farther.
Right. Now, do you miss the travel? Do you miss, the live stuff?
Yeah. And quiet as it's kept, I was listed as an essential worker since last March, because technically, and listen, I got no credentials, none of that stuff, but I work with
the population.
Residents, inmates, soldiers, vets who are in long-term care. That's the category. In a long-term care facility, I can be listed as a teacher or a presenter or part of clinical staff, which are all titles I don't deserve.
Right.
I can be listed as those things in a long-term care facility. So I still could travel. I was
get vaccinated?
I didn't yet, because I can't get an appointment. In the Bay Area in California, it's almost impossible right now to even get Kaiser or Walgreens or CVS. They don't have appointments. But the trick is, you got to call every half hour, every hour, because people cancel. I don't have the bandwidth to be there and say, I got to call again.
Virginia, I'll give Virginia a shout out. They're one of the best states, man. My whole staff got vaccinated. Our people can get it. I mean, Virginia got their shit together, man.
Well, it might be worth flying there just to get that. In April,
I can hook you up.
I'm a few places in April still. I still fly to Texas and Nebraska, Tennessee, and Florida. I've been flying since last March.
Right.
But just not as much. I fly 150,000 miles a year on a regular year.
Right.
Last year it was about 50,000.
Well, you still got out a little bit. That's pretty good, man.
Well, listen, essential work is a relative term, but mental health, it's pretty essential.
I can't see you doing a gig with the mask on. I mean, I just can't vision that. You know what I mean?
That's one of the things they didn't make me do. And here's how they got around that. I wear a mask the whole time I'm working.
Right.
But I'm at least 15 feet away. I got a whiteboard.
Right.
I got markers and a whiteboard. I got handouts I give them. I'm 15 feet away. Now, when they want to come up and ask me a question, when they want to come up and I need them to write something on the board, when I'm doing interact, I put it right on. Why? Because I don't know where they've been.
Right.
They don't know where I've been. I don't have to wear a mask because of the 15 feet. I have to wear a mask every other minute of the visit out of respect and kindness for them. But I would love to continue to do this work. Thanks for the wholehearted.org plug, by the way. That was so nice.
Oh, we running that over and over and over.
No, I haven't noticed till just this second. Todd, thank you. I like Todd. Todd made me wish I was gay for 3 minutes. So
you might like it. You ought to try it if you had, man.
Oh, don't say I haven't tried it, John. I mean, come on. That's not what I said. Yeah. I said, wish I was.
Right.
All right. So here's the thing. I would love to continue to do this work. And I think that, we're not running out of customers.
Right. No, they ain't going nowhere.
This COVID thing, the best part about it for me, in my opinion, COVID was it's a magnifying glass in an oven. And what I mean by that is COVID is a magnifying glass in a very heated situation. everything starts to boil up. That's always there. Racism, inequity, people who are assholes are really big assholes now. People who are generous and kind and worth following as a leader, they're really apparent now. The magnifying glass was put on us in this big cooker that says it's going to get hotter, longer, stronger, rougher, painful every day. Can you survive in there? And we're watching you. So your situation, your organization, it is going to thrive and blossom. Some had to shrink up and burn to a crisp so we can get them out of the oven. How many perpetrators in this business do you know?
Holy shit, man. They don't even know they perpetrators, man. It's crazy, man.
And that's the majority. It's like Zoom. Zoom meetings for work, Zoom meetings for recovery people. There's a lot of them. Most of them are horrible. Zoom. I'm not shading on Zoom, but most of those efforts, most of Zoom podcasts, most of Zoom shows, most of virtual presentations for corporate, virtual comedy shows, they're awful. We do those at Wholehearted. They're amazing, and not because I am, but because the process is, the picture's good, the studio, the set we have.
Y'all figured it out, man, how to do it right, do quality.
We figured it out last April because we knew it was going to be a mainstream. Zoom, virtual, that stuff, the wonderful platform you're on now, it's not going away. It's going to be a part of every facility, every jail, every treatment center, every SLE programming. It's going to be part of our fabric now.
We were like amateurs. We just had to, Zoom up, virtual up overnight. This shit wasn't on our radar. But I will say that we got the #1 podcast in the city by our newspaper, So this is an award-winning podcast, man.
Oh, I would have dressed up.
Yeah.
Don't be me.
I mean, look, what the hell? So now moving forward, I mean, what do you see happening here, in the business, the COVID, whatever?
We're mental health, recovery related fields.
Whatever.
The people who have been here a while, the people who are still here after a while, they deserve a lot of attention, because as soon as you tear a house down, now the weeds got more places to grow, right? So the newer efforts, and I'm not trying to discriminate against people who are new in the business, but there's a lot of people new in the business that got into the business because they saw needy people. So what we would like to do, wholehearted.org, McShin, everybody who's been around a while, what we'd like to do is make sure that the people who really, really are in deathly need of care, like there's a triage system. Who's dying right now? Who's really critical? Who can wait a little bit? Triage, right? There are levels of, hey, I'm addicted, afflicted, convicted, in trouble, and in a lot of confusion. The newer people are saying the right thing to get anybody to come to the door. The people have been around a while, places I work for now, there's a few places in Texas and Florida, they're doing the right thing. There's a difference in the recovery community and the mental health. People who say the right thing, okay, I get it, right? I'm slick. People who do the right thing are the ones you want to hang with, because they can tell you, if you want to drive from Virginia to Florida, you could do that, John. You know how. You know where Florida is, you know where you are, you know where you want to go, you know where you already are, and you know how to take that vehicle from here to hero or from now to wow. You're not going to go through Alaska, are you?
Probably not.
Because somebody in Alaska is going to tell somebody lost, hey, I know how to get to Florida from Virginia. That's just it's a dope deal. Right. We're not running out of customers. It's supply and demand, and the demand is greater than it's ever been.
Hey, do you know Martin Halls in Wyoming?
Martin Hawes, you know what? I don't know him yet. Is that the Recovery Wyoming guy?
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, I see it says there in the chat. I'm going to do a show for them. I don't know him yet.
Right.
But Recovery Wyoming, okay, so he says they never closed and it's stronger than ever. I'm positive then that he's in that list of 20 plus, 25 plus, 15 plus.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I went to Wyoming right before COVID, man. I got to make the tour, did some jails and prisons, and it was pretty cool. You'll love Wyoming, man.
I'll be in Cheyenne. I'm doing a thing for Recovery Wyoming. I'll be in Cheyenne, part of a three state weekend. I got to go from. It's a busy weekend, but I'll be there. I'll be there Friday.
Well, the shit gets deep there, so wear some tall boots, man. I mean, Martin.
Listen, I've been to Wyoming more times than I can count. I flipped my truck in Evanston doing a one-nighter in the snow. Yeah, listen, when I was brand new, early 1992, I flipped my truck over, ended up in a snowbank.
Right.
State trooper comes up and he goes, "You okay?" Roll my window down. Truck sinking into the snow. He said, "It's too deep. I'll call you a tow truck." And a cowboy pulls up in his pickup and he goes, "Hey." I go, "Hey." He goes, "Let me tie a rope to your ball. I'll pull you out." And I thought, these cowboys are tough, man.
Yeah, that's a good one there. So
anyway,
when COVID, when we get past COVID, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming you want to get back on the road and do the fun stuff. That's good assumption.
Well, and the stuff that's live, there's nothing like live. Live includes the universe and the energy and the spirit, whatever. Wherever you point your prayers, cool. But there's an energy entity live in meetings, in groups, in churches, in business that's not available on Zoom, in virtual, a presence in the room. Listen, how easy is it for people to go to group or go to their aftercare on a computer?
I will say this much. I didn't know this before, but you can do some sponsee shit on Zoom, across the country, across the state.
The Black Plague or cholera or leukemia, it at least taught us something.
Right.
It'll re-educate. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing, painful situation. But whatever don't kill you make you stronger, or thicken your skin, or if you don't die, you thrive. I get it. But that connecting, I've done meetings in probably, don't exaggerate, 9 countries besides the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 months by Zoom. South Africa and the Netherlands and Moscow and France. Okay, so it's connected us a little bit, but it's also isolated us from one another.
Oh no, I mean that's
the
story.
That's
I'm
the
just
part.
saying, I got some bonus shit, because like in our building, I could be zooming Honesty down the hall, Jesse 1 floor below, and a guy upstairs. We can Zoom right there in the building.
Listen, convenience wise, I mean, it's like the automobile. I'm not going to not drive a car. What are you, new?
Yeah.
but I know that in group, I'll say this in group, a little bit of clinical here behind the curtain at Oz. Here's a peek. There are 4 stages to relapse: isolate, separate, medicate, repeat. Isolate, separate, medicate, repeat. And the 4th stage is terminal, like cancer. Right. Relapse has 4 stages. The last one's repeat behavior, but the first stage is isolate. So right now, legally mandated, we're in stage 1 relapse. Everybody. When it says isolate from, separate from, now you're PC'd up in your hotel room or your bedroom and you're not going out. You're in stage 2 relapse. That's a dangerous place to be for somebody who's got 9 whole hours.
Terrible, man, they were bad. But my home group, we met every week. My home group, we never.
That's because you guys don't follow rules. That's because you're a nomad. That's because you don't pay attention. That's because you're arrogant.
Yeah. Well, we can't really fucking read that good either. You know how it goes down south.
Oh yeah. So you can't read that good. So let me come there and get a vaccine shot. All right, John.
Yeah. You get a vaccine now. But we've done good. But that a lot of people didn't do as good as us, Mark, man. I mean, there's been a lot of tragedies out there.
And those are the people that we set out to help. Those are the ones we wanted to help first. We wanted to first respond to the first responders. We did pro bono. We did available reach out to the firefighters and the nurses and the cops. And no matter what you think of any of those people don't think of themselves when they're working. Most of them. Yeah. I mean, we were responsive first to the first responders, because when we're helping the helpers can help the needy. And it's not because we're really smart or super special. I mean, everybody is important, but we made it a point to give away a bunch of time, a bunch of product, a bunch of energy to people who were going to go out and be apostles for, hey, listen, mental health doesn't care that COVID shows up. Right. COVID cares that mental health workers don't show up. So the COVID thing was a blessing in a lot of ways. Still is a blessing in a lot of ways. I got to finish my book. I got to create in a studio a whole bunch of stuff I wouldn't have been able to do if I was out there on a plane.
Right.
So, but that, I think you and I, people like us, your wife, God bless your wife. She's a saint for more than one reason.
Oh my God! I mean, it's been a hell of a year. You know, she hadn't been to DC in a year.
Well, listen, that's a. I mean, in her job, that's really an impediment because she's so
Congress every day.
Well, she's so likable and lovable in person too. Right. I mean, she's wonderful to look at. She's cute to talk to. Right. She's really smart. Did she adopt you? Did she adopt you?
Man, you know what I mean? Caught her in a weak moment. You know, what can I say, man? Man got lucky.
Well, I'll tell you, you still calling it luck, brother? Okay. So we're gonna move forward, you know, starting every single day brand new. Who can you help? How can you serve? And what are we doing different? Because I want to continue to evolve. I write constantly. You're never going to see the same show twice from me, ever. You're never going to see me repeat material one night to the next. I got to entertain me first so that I'm entertaining. So that's the challenge. I have to educate me first or I'm not educating. So I really take it seriously. I did a lot of work this last year where I was isolated and separated. I'm in stage 2 relapse. I ain't used nothing. Medication for me, isolate, separate, medicate. Medicate could be Netflix. Medicate could be food. It could be sleep. It could be that occasional cigar around a golf I like so much. Right. What do you want to do? I'm going to ask people, anybody watching, anybody listening. Can you do this? Shortcut. Hashtag be first. Hashtag be first. If you don't see some, be some. Equality, patience, kindness, grace, hope, service, love, freedom, forgiveness. If you don't see some out there, be some out there. Exactly. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a situation and say, what am I going to get? What am I going to take? What do I need? What can I grab? Instead of, what do I need to bring to this event? Now, when I get on a plane, John, if I don't see calm, if I don't see patience, if I don't see manners, I'm going to be all three of those.
Hell yeah.
Because at least one person I know is going to be safe from themselves. Because shoot, I can flip a switch. I got a bitch switch in me. I can vault on somebody, and it's neither one of our fault. But I'm gonna sure put you on yours.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times that got me handcuffs. I can't tell you how many times that got me a baton on the side of the head. Because I got a quick lip and I've got 2 things that addicts suffer from. You ready? Short temper, long memory.
Oh, I got a bunch of buddies like that, man.
Yeah.
Hell, y'all act like women, man. Come on, cut it out.
Well, you can say that. That didn't come from my side of the screen. John, I don't need any more email about what I ain't doing well or what I ain't talking about well, okay? So I want to remind people that McShin is in your backyard if you're in Virginia. Mark is in your backyard if you're on the West Coast anywhere. But these days, like John said, we're not distanced from anybody really when it comes to virtual, when it comes to online. So if you feel isolated, separated, and medicated on depression, medicated on hopelessness, medicated doesn't have to be a bottle or a bag. Reach out to somebody who can hook you up with somebody else who says, now neither one of us are separated or isolated.
Right. You know, I see my friend Susan on here. She asked the question, did he say cigar, John? Yes, Susan. Some men like to smoke cigars every now and then. It don't mean they're addicted.
let me say this, and listen, I'm not going to blink because it's funny. Just life writes funnier than I do, right?
Right.
I've never smoked a cigarette in my life ever. I did heroin. I had boundaries. Cigarettes are bad for you. Cigarettes are bad for you. But I'll smoke a cigar because, Susan, they're long and thick and firm, and who says no to that?
Holy shit, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got to let these guys go in the studio.
All right.
How much more time do you need from me?
Well, let me say this, and you can close it out. But you know, we have over 500,000 views inside corrections. So these are big hits for the guys. So last words for the boys locked up. What would you tell them, or the girls?
For everybody locked up. Let's be honest. Even in a place where dishonesty maybe got us a bunch of meals that we've already paid for in our soul and emotion and family. Our kids pick up the tab for our behavior at this point if we got them. I've got a product called Credit for Time Served. Credit for Time Served. There's nothing else like it on the planet. It won't be out until June. Credit for Time Served. It's a series or a live visit. It's a series you can download or a live visit that tells you how'd you get here, what you doing here, how do you stay out of here. And I know that those 3 levels are something that people listening that are incarcerated, if they're locked up right now, they understand, especially if they're a repeater. If they're a petty with a prior, at least, and everything but a third striker. Third strikers in California, they don't get out. But here's what we do. We get to change our behavior before our address. In prison, in jail. We get to change our behavior before we change our address. Because your mail goes to a certain place right now that you didn't sign up to live in. When you get a new address and new mail, we're going to be a different person so we can open letters by ourselves. Nobody reads it first. We don't have a phone limit on our time. We don't have a phone limit time, nothing. We got beds we made. We got clothes we bought. We got food we cooked. You want some of that? You got to do some of this. You change your mind, you change your life. But you can do it right now where you are.
Shit, I love it, man. I might come to Wyoming just to watch your show, man. Shit, send me the information.
I would love to see you. I'd always love to see you. I love seeing you tonight. My best to Carol. Ask her when she's going to get some mental help and leave you. Just ask her, please.
She might be upstairs. I don't know where she's at. We got a big house, man. Hey, look, I
love both of you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I love you. We're gonna hook up real soon, man. You need anything out of me, you let me know, all right? I got
always,
your back,
John,
man.
Always. My best to everybody listening. # be first. You don't see some out there, be some out there. You will not be sorry.
I got it, man. All right. Good night, folks. Thanks for tuning in tonight. More will be revealed.
My name is Shannon Lance. I'm currently here in recovery at McShin Foundation. I got out of jail on January 10th, 2021, and while I was incarcerated there, my mother passed away due to COVID complications on December 14th. It was a really challenging event in my life. While I was incarcerated there, I watched the recovery videos and the podcast on the tablets there, that was made by the McShin Foundation. Getting the Heard podcast really made me feel like I was a part of something on the outside because, there's people that are commenting and just seeing, people that I was incarcerated with on the videos and just thinking, man, that's going to be me, before too long. And, I'm going to be sitting there in them rooms and, and be able to be a part of the podcast and Getting the Heard series. And, now I'm a part of the Heard here at McShin, and it's an amazing feeling, and it's nice having a fulfilled sense of hope in my life currently. And just to live one day at a time and just to have positive feelings in my life and good relationships with my family and friends is an amazing event.
give up